and I think he pretty much insisted that I come to their house every Sunday for about a year. And we would just read through the New York Times, or we'd read SAT prep books, and he and I would exchange our opinion on what the author's intent of the column that they'd written was, and we'd have there would always be some debate, and at the end of it, he'd always say, we're going to be two erudite young men as a result of this work, and that was the goal of our meeting that day. My SAT score, that was important too, but not as important as he and I being erudite young men. So that's my memory.
Not only that, but the work that John did with Trent was very, very meaningful, because when he took his SAT, he was an American
a National Merit Scholar as a result of the work.
Scholar.
Yeah,
that was meaningful.
Yeah, let's put it this way: I was not doing well before I started working with him, and by the time I finished with him, I was a National Merit Scholar, and it was only because of our work together. So, thank you, Dr. Murphy.
And I remember one day we were sitting in their kitchen, and they had an island so that it was kind of like a bar there with high chairs, and I was sitting there, and they were preparing dinner, and John was trying to do something to prepare it. And I said, John, you're really not doing a good job. What you need is some supervision. And I said, I will be your supervisor, and as your supervisor, I will be able to provide you with supervision. From that day forward, I became the supervisor. And I've come to this occasion to say farewell to John, knowing that the day will come when we will be united and we'll have some wonderful times together. But I came because I thought that this event would need some supervision. But I got here and found out that they really didn't need me.
Probably some of my favorite memories are of the time we went on the grapefruit diet together. I was living there, and we all decided we needed to lose 10 pounds, so we had eggs and grapefruit and Canadian bacon pretty much every day. And we all lost 10 pounds, and then we stopped, and I don't know what happened after that, but we've had a lot of great times, and our kids have grown up together, and couldn't ask for a better friend.
John is an interesting fellow, witty, always smiling, a doctor by profession, and an old school doc. He always engaged the patient. He looked at the patient, and he never wanted a computer screen in the exam room or anywhere near him. It was always about the person in front of him, and he was totally engaged. One of the rare things today is to find someone who looks you in the eye and listens intently and tries to do his best. Always engaging, always with a little bit of Irish on the tongue to make things interesting. Witty, considered himself a bit of a bard, did love poetry, and would quote repeatedly to anybody who would listen at length. One of his favorite sayings was that when you came to a point that was going to take too long to talk about, he would say that that's another story for another day and another day for its telling. And that has always stuck with me because it's very true. Very kind and very open, and Jim Harnan commented about how he helped the poor so many times and in so many ways. He was very generous, and he remembered his upbringing, and he remembered his Catholic training, and he always wanted to help others in any way that he could, and he did. He led a fun life. You see it in his smile, you see it in his wit, and you see it in the children that he left to us, and always happy. All of his friends always comment on what a great spirit he was and how friendly and jovial all the time.
The first oldest memory I could think of was the Indian Princess dance at the YMCA, circa 1998, 1999, when he went. It was a father-daughter dance, and my father just passed away, and so Dr. Murphy took me with Kathleen. We had a really good time and danced around and all that good stuff. Just kind of learning about Dr. Murphy's diagnosis and thinking about his career in medicine and me just starting mine. I was really glad that I got to spend time studying with him. I got to my first cadaver tag, and it was something that he had taught me that I didn't know, and it was the day before the test. The radial artery that crosses over the wrist. Didn't know that. He told me that. I got that question right. So anyways, I texted him afterwards. I was like, I got a 90, like, woo! And anyways, he was really proud.
We're at dinner, and he has nothing in common with anybody, so he and I are just chatting. And there was like Aaron Carter and Britney Spears' manager and the owner of the Chippendales. And my dad doesn't know who any of these people are, and he heard Chippendales, and he kind of perks up. And he said, I love Chippendales. And I was like, well, that's odd. There must be something about my dad I don't really know. And then I can tell from the conversation they're not on the same page. The owner of the Chippendales and my dad don't seem to know what the other is talking about. So then we get back in the car, and I go, Dad, what do you think Chippendales is? And he goes, oh, Lauren, it is lovely, lovely furniture. We signed him up for Facebook, and he wasn't very good with computers or anything like that, so we signed him up for Facebook, and he called me, and he said, Lauren, I sent you a telegram on the Face website.
Okay, so it was about 1995, and I became a Christian, and so I was up in the East Bay, and John was there with me, and he said, hey, Bruce, I want to have a word with you. And I said, okay, John, what's up? And he said, I can really tell, that your life has changed. And he said, I just got to ask you what's going on. And I said, well, John, we're on the steps in front of the building there. I said, you know what, John? I've become a Christian. And he said, well, I kind of consider myself a Christian. And I said, I know, John, but I've taken it to the next step. And my life has been really changed forever. And he said, well, you know what, I'd kind of be interested in that. I'm kind of on a hard spot here, and I'd be interested in learning more about that. And I said, okay, John, well, here, I tell you what, in about a month, they're going to have a meeting in Dallas for Promise Keepers. He said, what's Promise Keepers? I said, well, it's a group, it's a men's event. And they're going to be between 35 and 45,000 men in a stadium. And if you'll go, I'll take you. We'll spend the weekend together, and we can talk about it. He said, I'll go with you. So, knowing Murphy, I figured, well, he says he's going to go, but he probably won't go. So I got an airline ticket, and I mailed it to him at his home. He said later, if I hadn't mailed that ticket, he never would have made it. But he got the ticket in the mail, and I called him, hey, John, all you got to do, buddy, you just get from your house to the airport. When you get off the airplane in Dallas, I'll be standing at the gate. This is before Homeland Security. Okay, so he gets in his car, and he drives up Highway 45, and he stops at Papacito's, and he drinks 2 margaritas like bam, bam, fast order. So now he's about half schlocked because he just can't imagine that he's going to have to face this thing at PK. So he drives to the airport, gets on the plane. Well, the flight from Houston to Dallas is like 30 minutes, you know. And there wasn't any TSA thing, so he just checks in and he goes there and he walks off the plane. I look at him like, God, Murphy, he looked like death warmed over. He said I slept a little bit on the plane. I didn't smell any alcohol on his breath. And we jumped in the car and I took him over there and we walk in and this place is full. And for me, it's electric. There's 35,000 guys in this thing packed in. And the thing's about to start, and there's guys yelling, "We love Jesus, yes we do. We love Jesus, how about you?" And then the other side, these guys be yelling the same thing. Murphy looks over at me. We're on the railing looking down at the seats. He goes, "I don't know about you, but these people make me nervous as hell. I'd like to get out of here." I said, "Hey, no." He said, "Now, do you consider yourself one of these kind of guys?" I said, "Well, you know, John, hey, man, breathe deep. Let me get you something to eat here right quick. I'm trying to think of something to keep him in the house because he's about ready to bolt." So I take him down to the deal. I give him a hot dog. We eat the hot dog, and he's out of the "We love Jesus" stuff. And he's eating the hot dog there for a little bit, and then he's like, "Okay, I think I can do this." And I had it sitting on the 15th row. Inside we're 15 rows in the front, in the middle. Yeah. We're 15 rows from the front in the middle. And a guy by the name of James Riles, he's a pastor that I know from Colorado, actually from Boulder. And he gets up and he says, "Gentlemen, how many of you can throw a football 15 yards? Everybody raises their hand. How about 25 yards? How about 35 yards fewer? I want to see your hand if you can throw a football 40 yards. And just a few guys. He said, "Okay, here's the ball." And he takes out a football that has no air in it. So, some of you guys came here with no air. And maybe I'm speaking to you. And so, and we're sitting there, they got these seats that are bolted together. And we're sitting in row. He said, "This is going to be like no invitation you've ever heard in your life." He said, "What I want to do is, if I'm talking to you, I want you to stand up." Murphy stands up. I mean, and there's nowhere for him to go because you can't even move with your legs. And the guy said, "I want you to come down front." And so he gets up. He's the only guy on the whole row standing up. Pushes to the end. He comes around the corner. And he's standing there. He only had 15 steps to go. And he's the first one there. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, man, I gotta go with him. So I get up and go down there and say, Murphy, man, what are you doing? He said, "I'm giving my life to the Lord. Right now." And he said, "Would you pray for me?" And I said, I will. And the Lord honored me on that day. And for that, and then his life changed. And I really became a spiritual mentor for him. And I coached him and taught him. And